From C. Alton Lindsay Softball Field in Hampton, Virginia, WHCS Channel 29 presents Peninsula Group AAA Girls Softball. The Hampton Crabbers hosting the Phoebus Phantoms. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz, and we are here at C. Alton Lindsay Junior High School softball field for the game between the Phoebus Phantoms, who are 11-4 under Wade Trainum, and the Hampton Crabbers, who are 13-2 under Beth Mayer. And Bob, this should be a good game. Both of these teams got good records.
They really do, and they've got both of them are fairly young teams. Wade's got one senior on his team, and Beth has got 4 seniors on her team. But they're both will come with good pitchers. They both got good pitching staffs, and we look for a real good game today, Tim. I just hope we get it in before we get rained on. It's overcast, and the weather report says that there are showers coming up from North Carolina, so maybe the Carolinians will hold on to them for a little while.
You got a shot at the ominous sky just a moment ago before you got a chance to look at the young Amy Johnson, the pitcher for the Crabbers. They are the team as the home team today. They're in, of course, the red and white of Hampton High School. The Phoebus Phantoms, blue and gold.
I tell you what, this Amy is a real team leader out there, Tim. She is one of the seniors on the team, and she's got a 12-2 record. So she's been their mainstay behind, on the pitching mound. It looks like it's going to be a good game. I was talking to Wade earlier, and he told his girls, he says, what we have to do, we have to win today, and Hampton has to lose tomorrow for us to win the district. And he says it's going to be tough to do, but he says, I told them we're going to go out and have fun and enjoy it and just play ball, and that's what you got to do.
We are about set to get underway. Leading off for the Phantoms will be Tanya Pierce, number 3.
I think it's Tanya.
Tanya?
Yeah.
Can't spell.
That's okay. The way I pronounce it, the way you went down. But anyway, this young lady holds 5 swimming records at Phoebus High School, so she's all-around athlete.
Make them in handy if the weather gets bad.
Yeah. Oh, you're quick today, Tim.
Left fielder Tanya Pierce in the leadoff position. Fast pitch softball. First pitch is a strike.
Tim, can you hit that ball? I mean, that's only 60 feet.
Yeah, that's tough. She lays it down the third baseline, and it goes foul. The third baseman, Rhonda Crum, actually made the play with her hat. The ball rolled into her hat. That was quite a well. There you see the lineup for the Phoebus Phantoms. There you see Tanya Pierce leading off, and so forth down the line. We'll let you pick them up for yourselves. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes to Tanya Pierce.
I will give you a little hint, Tim. If they've got a couple people on base, nobody out, you look over at Wade, and if he bends over and puts his hands on his knees, that's the bunt signal. He says he gave me that information as long as I didn't pass it on to anybody before game.
This one's coming right at us. Almost got it. 1 ball, 2 strikes as it's fouled off to the right side. The Phoebus Phantoms 11-4. Our officials for today's game, the plate umpire is Ron Rivera, and umpiring the bases is Earl Brown. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tanya Pierce. Hit to the third baseman. And her throw is low, but a good job by the first baseman to make the pickup.
And she really stretched and may have hurt herself, Tim. I'm not sure. She really had to make a stretch to get that ball. And she was doing the splits when she caught the ball. But it was a low throw, but she did a good job digging it out.
That's Ramona Gray, as you and I were talking about before we came on the air. She is suffering a little bit here. Ramona, of course, was an intricate part of the Hampton girls basketball team during the basketball season. So she's going to have to try and shake that one off. She really did the splits. But an excellent effort on her part to dig that ball out and record the first out of the ball game. Ball 1 is the count to Jenny Albright, who is the center fielder, batting second for the Phantoms.
And Jenny's one of the few left-handers that Wade has on his team, and she is the alternate pitcher. She is batting .417, Tim, has 3 home runs, 3 doubles, and a triple so far this season.
2 balls and no strikes on Jenny Albright. Outside the count.
And you know, sometimes just somebody coming up on the other side of that base, when you're used to plate, you're used to seeing people bat from the right side, it'll mess up a pitcher sometimes. I don't know why that is.
3 balls and no strikes. 1 away here, the top of the first. Strike 1 called.
Well, you knew she was going to take all the way on that. Wade wants to get some base runners, and I'm sure that was his idea. Now he's looked like it may be a bunt signal. Let's see what happens.
3-1 to count, and she does square around. She pops it up, however, and Amy Johnson does a good job of recording the out.
Now, I picked up Wade doing the hands on the knees that time. That's why I was so knowledgeable.
So 2 away, and the batter is Jenny Diggs. Jenny is the pitcher for the Phoebus Phantoms.
And she is also batting .417 for the year. Her and Jenny Albright, both Jennies are batting .417.
Jenny takes strike 1. Swinging strike 2, foul ball.
Well, you notice something a little different here. Every time the ball hit the back drop on one of the baseball games, umpire would pick it up, look at it. Here the girls just pick it up, throw it out, and play. Can't hurt that ball.
Strike 3. Foul tip, but it was held on to by the catcher. That was Letitia Lee, number 17, the catcher, holding on to that tip. So the Phantoms go down in order at the top of the first. And we want to take this opportunity to remind you folks that if you're watching this game and it's not quite the 21st of May yet, we encourage you and urge you to come out to the Hampton Coliseum Sunday night at 7:30 for Boo Williams AAU All-Star Team versus the Soviet Union Junior National Team. And boy, Bob, I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, I am too, Tim. In fact, I got on the phone today and I called the athletic directors of all the Hampton schools and got a hold of one of them over in the Newport News schools, and they promised me they're going to put it on the morning announcements all week long, so a lot of the people don't know about it. And it's $2 for general admission and $5 for reserved seats. I mean, that's just an excellent price for an excellent ball game coming up.
It sure is. You really can't do anything for $2 anymore, and a chance to go out there and support Boo Williams' team. He will have another excellent team, I'm sure. He's got several participants from the peninsula, and on that team, Aaron Monday from the Hampton Crabbers, along with Kenny Swan and
Kevin Swan,
excuse me, and several other players.
Corey Stewart from Bethel High School as another one. And
Cornell Parker from Maury High School, one of the more outstanding players in this area. So it should be a real treat, and this will be our 3rd year of being there for it. In the last 2 games, if this game is any indication, it will be a barn burner. So we encourage you to get out there Sunday evening at 7:30. $2 general admission, $5 for reserve seats for Boo Williams AAU team versus the Soviet national team. All right, leading off for the Crabbers is Tawana Foster, and she is the right fielder for the Crabbers. And she takes strike 1.
Well, this young lady is very versatile. She's an excellent athlete, and Beth says she can play in a lot of different positions.
Fouled away, strike 2. We didn't do quite as many softball and baseball games as we had hoped to do this spring, but of course, you know.
The weather didn't cooperate a whole lot, Tim.
No, it sure didn't. Foul down the third baseline. Count remains at no balls and 2 strikes.
And we've got the cameras really strategically placed. We have one out in deep right center, and Jerome is over there on the Hampton side of the field, and then we got one on top of the truck on the Phoebus side of the field. So we got 3 cameras, and they're up in the air, and they will be the first ones to feel the raindrops, too, I might add.
And the lightning bolts. No balls, 2 strikes. Count to Tawana Foster, and she lines it to the second baseman.
Nice catch on that number 4 for the Phantoms, and that's Michelle Smith. Just had to take about a step and a half to the left and just bring that ball in.
So 1 away, and the batter will be Ramona Gray, who made a superb play at first base in that top of the first inning and digging out that low ball, and she appears to be all right. It looked like she might have pulled a muscle at first. as she squares around a bunt and fouls it off.
And I'll tell you why. If you get her on, Beth Mayer says she is probably the quickest girl in the district. Not just in Hampton, in the district. When you get her on base, she will get to third.
And she looks at strike 2.
And she backed up in the box, Tim. She was sitting up in front of the box, but now she's in the back of the box.
This one's inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ramona Gray. Jenny Diggs working rapidly. And she strikes her out. So Ramona Gray goes down for the second out, as the batter coming to the plate now will be Kristen Davis.
And she is one of the other seniors. Ramona Gray is one senior. Kristen Davis is one of the others. There's only 4 on the team. And she has a good glove, but she must be a decent batter or she wouldn't be batting in the number 3 spot.
She takes a ball high. She is the center fielder for the Crabbers. This one is low, ball 2. Bottom half of the first inning, no score. Hampton Crabbers hosting the Phoebus Phantoms. Girls softball, fast pitch, and that one just narrowly misses our mobile studio.
Well, I thought maybe Sam Jr. might try to catch that, but he said, no, I'll let it hit the ground. Hit our mobile studios, huh?
This one is low.
I can't catch the count, Tim. Is it
1 ball and 2 strikes?
2 strikes, okay.
This is low. Actually, I thought it was 2 and 1, but maybe.
No, I thought it was 2 balls and 1 strike. It should be 3 and 1 now, Tim. I believe the first pitch came in was the ball.
That one is a called strike.
Now we got a full count.
Full count. Yeah, I thought he might have missed the count too, because it is a full count now. So the umpires working as a team, Earl Brown and Ron Rivera. Full count, 2 away. Jenny Diggs delivers. It's hit back to the pitcher. Over to first, and she's out.
We got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
So pitcher to first, ground out, and both teams record straight 1, 2, 3 innings in the first inning. Bob, one thing I didn't get a chance to check on too, we got here kind of late and I was kind of rushed. I was.
Okay.
I tell you, it's tough to make these afternoon games.
Yeah, I know. I'm picking on you.
You're working your main job. How many innings will they play?
They'll play 7 innings, Tim.
Okay.
Just like the baseball, they won't go 9. The high school baseball goes 7, just like girls softball. Remember, a couple years ago, we got a chance to do the state championship game out at Asbury Park with the Kickingham Warriors were in the state championship, and that was the first chance we got to see girls softball, and it's excellent. I like this fast pitch softball.
I did too, and I was very impressed a couple of years ago with the play of Kickingham and the team that they eventually lost to in that championship. Dawn Paps was on that team, amongst others. First name to come to mind.
Christy Hill was another young lady.
Hill, exactly.
Is on a scholarship down at Campbell College now, as a matter of fact.
A couple of names that we're familiar with besides Ramona Gray. There was also Cheyenne Hill, who will be leading off for the Crabbers in the bottom of the second half. I understand she's not doing too poorly at the plate.
No, I'll expound on that when she gets up there.
We'll get to her a little later. Right now, we're going to go with Kim Seacrest, who will lead off to start the second inning.
She's the only senior on the team, Tim, and she is probably the team leader.
And she plays catcher. Takes a ball high and outside.
First thing she asked me when she saw me, she said, "You still got my ring?" She wants my ring, Tim.
This one's inside, so the count goes to 2 balls, no strikes. Kim Seacrest leading off the second inning. Looks like the weather is going to try and hold here, Bob. Looks like we may get this one in. Strike swinging.
Don't be too loud about it.
Well, it's looking better.
Yeah,
I tell you, on my way down here, I thought, oh boy, I'm going to get there just in time for them to shut everything down. 2 balls, 1 strike. This one's popped up Shortstop calls for the play, and she's got it.
And that's Cheyenne Hill, the young lady you was talking about earlier.
So that's 4 down in a row now, and the batter will be Sabrina Jockel, I believe that is.
That's right.
She is the shortstop for the Phantoms. She swings at the first pitch for a strike.
Now, Coach Wade says she's got an excellent arm from that shortstop position and is the anchor of the infield.
She swings at a high one, strike 2.
And Wade is over there telling her it was high, it was high. Wait till the ball comes down. Don't help the pitcher out.
Of course, now behind with 2 strikes, she's got to guard the plate. Anything close, she's going to have to swing. And she looks at a low and inside pitch. That one was wasted, as we may have been able to pick up a slight grin on Amy Johnson's face. She kind of knew she was going to throw her a junk ball to see what happens.
Yeah, there's a good shot of Amy right there.
And she strikes her out.
And that's, what, her second strikeout.
Second strikeout for Amy Johnson. It brings to the plate Tracy Green, number 15. She is the third baseman for the Phantoms.
And they call her Squeaky, Tim. I'm not sure why, but she's got a good bat.
Looks at a strike.
But I tell you what, Amy is in a groove. She just feels comfortable out there. You can see she's very relaxed pitching that ball, and these young ladies are just, you only got a split second to make a decision, but boy, did she come around on that ball.
Tracy got out in front of that one and fouled it down the third baseline as she got good wood on it, or I guess you should say good metal anymore.
Oh, she's got a wood bat. Tim, I believe you're right the first time. That doesn't look like a...
Sounded metallic, I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe it is. It just got it painted black.
And that aluminum sound to it.
That ping.
So Amy Johnson now is in front of the batter with 2 strikes and no balls. She pops it up. It's going to be out of play. Count remains at 2 strikes. Got our crew out here today in this semi-inclement weather. Scotty Bowers, our director. Who we got on the camera besides Jerome over there on third base?
Got Jerome on third base. Got Sam Jr. on top of the mobile unit, and out in right center we got Keith still, and Dr. Sam is hobbling around on a bad foot. I don't know if he tried to kick somebody and missed or what happened. We'll have to find out some details on that.
And you may have noticed that way out in front of the pitch for the third strikeout of the ball game for Amy Johnson.
She took just a little off of that, Tim, and that's what why that young lady was way out front.
What I started to say was, you may have noticed our absentee roving reporter, A.G. Womble, our man on the scene, is not on the scene today.
A.G. who?
A.G. who, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing school business and making sure we got plenty of money to do these broadcasts and all. I don't know. I know he had some things to do. He told me he wasn't going to be here for this game and the one we did Friday. So, but we miss him. But he'll be with us Sunday, I'm sure.
And of course, Slow-Mo Joe Lewis, our man in the van, is not in the van.
Well, and I think what problem is we're running off a generator, and I don't know if we got enough power to run that slow-mo machine or not. Scotty was telling us. So I don't know if Joe is going to show up or not.
Got those little mice running their little hearts out. Huh?
Oh, they got those little wheels turning. Scotty's got to feed them a little.
Well, we're going to the bottom of the second. The Crabbers will bring up in the bottom of the second Cheyenne Hill, Patty Welsh, and Letitia Lee. And we have no score at this point. It's been pretty much a 3 up, 3 down. In fact, it has. There have been 9 batters, and there have been 9 recorded outs. So.
And Cheyenne, as you was talking about, Tim, she is the leader of hitting. She's batting .651. Eat your heart out, right? Oh, that is awesome. But she is a team leader, and she's just a junior. And I know the girls basketball team looking to have her back. She had an excellent year last year. In fact, one of the best years that the Hampton girls had in quite a few years. And she'll be back next year, but she'll miss Ramona Gray.
Jenny Diggs throws a strike to Cheyenne Hill. Cheyenne looks like she might have lost a couple of pounds there since basketball season.
I think
she's slimmed down real nicely.
Yes. It'll make her a little quicker.
She's a big girl. That one's just a little low as it was across the plate, but right below the knees, so it count goes to 1-1 on Cheyenne Hill. There you see a good shot of Jenny Diggs as she gets the signal from the catcher. and throws strike 2.
And Cheyenne knew that when it went cross. She grinned her teeth. She knew she should have been swinging at that one. That was one she could have put out of here.
This one's high, so the count now goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. We got one away here. Excuse me, nobody out here in the top. Get it right yet. Bottom of the second. Got to get ahead of myself. She fouls this one away.
And that was low. That would have been a ball. She had to really bend over to get any contact at all with that ball. But when you got 2 strikes, you feel like you really got to protect the plate, and that's what she was doing.
This one is low in the dirt, so the count goes full now. She looks down to Beth Meyer, the coach for Hampton, and gets the signal. And looks at a low pitch, ball 4. So we have the first base runner of the ball game. And that'll bring up Patty Welsh.
And Beth had something to say to Miss Welsh to find out maybe she may be trying to do a bunt and move Cheyenne over to second. And that's exactly what she was telling her to do.
She fouls it out of play. Strike 1. Patty is the third baseman for the Crabbers.
And she is a first year. She's a sophomore. She's one of the young gals on the team.
No balls, 1 strike. Strike 2. And going on the pitch, Cheyenne Hill gets in there as she steals second.
Almost didn't get in there. She was a little late sliding, it looked like there for a second.
So runner in scoring position. Nobody out. And this pitch is high.
And understand, and this is not like baseball in that you can lead off in baseball. In softball, fast pitch, you cannot leave till the ball leaves the pitcher's hand. Once the ball leaves the pitcher's hand, then you can leave the base. If you leave prior to that, then you can be called out.
Count runs now to 2-2. Patty Welch with Cheyenne Hill in scoring position. And she swings at a strike 3.
We just had a beautiful lady stop by and look at us. Vi Williams, assistant principal over at Hampton High School, supporting this Crabber group.
Batter now is Letitia Lee, and Cheyenne Hill very alertly steals third.
What she did now was really kind of cute. She went about 8 to 10 feet down, and they kind of hesitated, and when the catcher threw it back to the pitcher, just took off and beat the throw to third and knocked the base off. So we got to get that hook back up.
So Cheyenne, as we mentioned before, is a big woman, big lady, but she moved down pretty well around those base paths, and she did a good job that time. Good alert base running on her part.
Well, Tim,
definitely in scoring position.
Well, Tim, I have to agree with you. I believe Cheyenne has lost a little bit of weight and has picked up a little bit of speed, and that's really going to make her tough next year in basketball season.
Yeah, she was tough before. 1 ball, no strikes to count to Letitia Lee, with Cheyenne Hill most definitely in scoring position. They're going to have to be careful of her because she is definitely a threat on third.
She sure is. This young lady is catching, Tim, has got a great arm. She has had 10 putouts, people trying to steal second on her this year. And that's one of the top in the district.
Letitia looks at ball 3, so 3-0 the count on the batter. Coach Trainum giving instructions to the catcher just to get the ball back to the pitcher to keep an eye on that runner. Strike called. 3-1 the count now to Letitia Lee. We're in the bottom half of the second inning. 1 away. Runner on third base. Squaring around apparently to bunt and takes a call strike. So the count goes to a full count now. And swinging strike 3. So Jenny Diggs helps herself out there with her third strikeout of the ball game. Gets herself out of a little bit of a jam. So this brings up Amy Johnson with 2 away. And Cheyenne Hill still on third base. First pitch is a high pitch.
She is the third senior on the starting lineup and on this team. And of course, she would like nothing better than to bring Cheyenne in and help her own situation.
Pitch is low for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. And a called strike. 2-1. I could get into the softball. This is kind of fun.
It really is.
You see more people out here supporting their teams. Strike 2. So now the count goes to 2-2 on Amy Johnson. 2 away, bottom of the second. No score. And call strike 3. So Jenny Diggs strikes the side out after giving a walk to open the inning
and
to Cheyenne Hill.
She returned the favor, Tim. She struck out when she faced Amy. So it's kind of a return of favor. I'm sure that Amy didn't like that, but that was a good job done.
So in the top of the third now, Rhonda Crum, Stephanie Belton, and Leslie Masters will be the batters for the Phoebus Phantoms. As you watch the Hampton Crabbers warming up. We had the pleasure of going out to Tribble Field last Friday afternoon and doing the game between the Hampton Crabbers and the Bethel Bruins boys team. Fast pitch baseball, of course. And our congratulations to the Bruins for coming away with that victory. They pretty well pounded the Hampton Crabbers last week. Hampton team's not doing as well in baseball as they did in football and basketball.
Well, if you remember what Jesse Sansville told you, Tim, is a hit here, defensive play here, just anything would have turned the season around. And same with Bouchard's Bethel Bruins.
And both teams having lost a lot of close ball games. And,
in fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Jesse Sanzo teaches here at Lindsay Middle School.
Yeah, I should correct myself. I called it junior high school. That was my old age showing up. They don't have junior high schools anymore.
No, they don't. In fact, that's...
Yeah, middle-age high schools.
Is that what it is, middle-age? Yeah, when I first started coaching and teaching in Hampton, I was at Buckrow Junior High and Sims Junior High before I went to Bethel. And it was junior high back then. You had your 7th, 8th, and 9th, and now we're 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and they're called middle schools.
Leading off, Rhonda Crum, number 11. She is the first baseman for the Phantoms. She looks at a high and outside pitch for ball 1.
She's just a sophomore, batting .287.
We got a lot more information on the girls here than we could squeeze out of the boys' teams last Friday. Strike called, 1-1.
Well, both coaches were extremely helpful. I knew I had to do something.
This one is fouled away, out of play, down the first baseline.
As long as it doesn't hit the RVP Bob and aim for the
close to the Tim K
car out there. But both coaches were very, very helpful. And I knew I had to get the information quick because I knew you were going to be running late, but they were both excellent. Just gave me all the information, gave me the lineups, boom, boom, boom. There's no problem. It really makes it nice for us.
Ball 2 outside. We have to implement that thing we talked about getting to the schools early in the season and getting as much information from all the different coaches about their teams so that when we get ready to do these things, we got some info. Ball hit to right field, but playing the ball perfectly.
Well, that looked like it was going a lot further than it ended up going. It's the wind is blowing a little bit in, but not that much. But you're right, Tim. It would be nice if we could get all the information ahead of time. But, of course, sometimes the coaches don't know who they're going to have until the season starts. But
sure.
I try to get over and talk to the coaches when I can, and it's just almost impossible this time of year to get over. So that was why I was very thankful that Beth Mayer and Wade Trainham was so helpful.
The batter is Stephanie Belton. And a call strike.
And she's just a sophomore and is a good defensive ball player. She's got good speed.
1-1 the count to Stephanie. Plays right field, turns around and bunts it. It goes foul as a good hustling job on the part of Ramona Gray for the first base side there of Hampton. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. 3 strikeouts recorded so far by Jenny Diggs, including the last 2 batters she faced in the second inning.
That batter's already squared around the bunt. Excellent bunt.
Lays it down. Play is played superbly by the pitcher.
She'd have put it down the line a little more, maybe down the first base line. She might have been able to hustle that out because that'd been hard to pick it up and throw at the same time with the runner in front of you. But that was an excellent bunt.
Fielded very well by the pitcher. Always nice as a coach to have a good fielding pitcher. Amy Johnson did a good job of getting over there and throwing her out quite easily, actually.
Yes, she did. This is Leslie Master. She's the DH, Tim. They use a designated hitter in softball as they did in baseball. She has 1 home run, 2 triples, and a double so far this year.
Fouls that one down the first baseline. Coach Tradham calls her over and has some additional instructions for her. Leslie Masters, the DH. 1-1 the count. And call strike 2. This one's popped up and it's playable behind the plate and caught by the catcher.
And that's got to be one of the hardest catches to make. Straight over your head like that.
So she pops out to the catcher. Letitia Lee does a good job of fielding that ball, and that is going to do it for the top half of the 3rd inning.
And Coach Wade Trainer came over and told her, excellent, excellent catch. And that's showing you the sportsmanship how that's being displayed out here today.
So that's another 3 up and 3 down inning for the Hampton Crabbers. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. Still no score. Only had 1 base runner so far. That was in the 2nd inning when a walk was given to Cheyenne Hill, and she stole 2nd and 3rd, only to end up stranded on 3rd. Leading off in the bottom half of the 3rd for the Crabbers will be Tanya Robinson, Tina Beckwith, and Michelle Moultrie. Tanya Robinson is the DH for the Hampton Crabbers.
And she is a clutch hitter. Beckwith is not batting, Tim. She's Tanya Robinson bats for Beckwith, so you'll have Michelle Moultrie then back to the top of the order.
That's right, of course. I knew that.
I knew. You just checking me out, see if I was paying attention. So the only reason we're not online at 3-3-3 is because we had 1 base runner.
That's right.
That's the only thing that gave me the clue. I said, wait a minute.
All right, so our DH steps to the plate, Tanya Robinson. Jenny Diggs delivers strike 1. Our plate umpire today, Ron Rivera, most emphatic about his calls. Don't leave much doubt in your mind as to what the call is.
That's for sure.
This one's hit back to the pitcher. Easily over to first base, and that's your first out.
And you notice one other thing, Tim, that you don't see in fast pitch softball as you see in baseball is, when they have a put out, in baseball they throw the ball around the horn. Everybody touches it. Here they don't. It goes right back to the pitcher and get on with the ball game.
Michelle Moultrie lays it down the 3rd baseline. She's got good speed. She beats it out.
If the ball would have been a little bit lower, it would have been a really tough call because the first baseman for the Phantoms had to really reach to get that ball. That's Tanya Pierce. I'm sorry, that's not Tanya that's Rhonda Crum over on first base. But the ball was high, and she had to kind of go up and get it. If she could have stretched out and reached for it, she might have been able to pull off an out.
Strike 1 called on the leadoff batter, Twana Foster. She flied out to the 2nd baseman in the top of the 1st. Swings and fouls it down the 3rd baseline, just out of play against the fence. So quickly, 2 strikes, the count to Tawana Foster.
And I'm sure as the game goes on, the batters will be a little more accustomed to the pitcher.
Ball gets away from the catcher and advancing to 2nd.
Now that was a low pitch, but the catcher did a good job of blocking it, but just lost the handle.
goes to the pitcher. She throws it away.
And we'll have our first run, Tim.
So all the way around to third base goes Tawana Foster.
And that was on an error on the throw. That should have been an out for sure. Or just a wide throw, hit the fence, and they couldn't get up to it.
So bad throw from the pitcher allows a 3-base error. And Ramona Gray will come to the plate. She struck out to bat second in the first inning, and she looks at strike one. As over on third base is Tawana Foster.
Well, they were trying a little squeeze bunt there, Tim.
No real play at home, as coming all the way in was Tawana Foster. On the ball, got away from the catcher. So the Crabbers go on top 2-0. Count is 1-1 to Ramona Gray, and the bases are clear. And even though she backed out of there, the ball was called for a strike.
It must have been on the inside corner, but
curve. Working rapidly, Jenny Diggs, and strike 3 is the call. So Ramona Gray is called out on strikes. That's the second time she is struck out. And that is 5 strikeouts now recorded by Jenny Diggs. And Kristen Davis will come to the plate. She grounded out pitcher to first in the first inning. Looks at a strike one. This one's high. 1-1 the count. Strike 2 across the letters.
Tim, that was almost as high as the one before. I wasn't going to say anything, but I can, it's hard for me not to say so. But look, about the same place.
That one was real close, so that might have been a makeup call there. 2-2. So she's not sure what's going to be called a strike here. Kristen Davis looking at a 2-2 count. And she looks at strike 3, and that is it for the inning. But the Crabbers get 2 runs on 1 hit.
And what, 2 errors at least,
2 errors, yep. Yeah. Again, I'm not an official scorer, so I won't try and be too official about this.
Well, there's got to be an error on the throw and then an error on the catcher, yep, or the pitcher one that allowed the second run to come in. So it's got to be at least 2 errors.
You're absolutely right. So we have completed 3 innings, and the Hampton Crabbers lead 2-0. Just a reminder that we encourage you to come out to that game on the 21st of May at the Hampton Coliseum. We're not getting anything for this, folks. I don't want you to think that we're promoting it for any gain of the Hampton Coliseum. We just like to see a good turnout when AAU basketball team of Boo Williams takes on the Soviet Union junior national team.
Sure enough, Tim, we've got a pretty good crowd out here today. It's was surprising because of the weather being overcast and everything. I thought we may not have a real big crowd, but it seems like we've got a decent crowd. I'm not sure what the crowds run at these ball games, but it's good to see that some fan support out here.
Leading off for the Phantoms in the top of the 4th. It's Tanya Pierce. Grounded out third to first in the first inning. She squares around and says, I'm going to bunt. Now we got a time called as the base umpire Earl Brown is going to do a little repair work on the first base.
Tanya walked right up there and said, I'm going to bunt this ball.
She's not pulling any punches about it. She says, I'm going to bunt it.
You're right.
Throw your best. Throw your best stuff, because I'm going to bunt it.
If it's close, I'm going to bunt it.
Tanya Pierce. Plays left field for the Phantoms. We're in the top of the 4th inning. Hampton Crabbers leading 2-0.
Harold Brown says, let's go. I got first base fixed.
And so far, we've got a no-hitter and a perfect game going for Amy Johnson.
Nothing makes it any tougher on a pitcher than when you put that monkey on her back, Tim. You know that, don't you?
She can't hear me. It's okay. And fooling, or trying to fool at least, the Hampton team. Squared around the bunt and then pulled back and swung away. One and one the count to Tanya Pierce. Again, she holds that bat as if she may want to bunt and pulls it back and smacks it right to the first baseman.
Right to Ramona Gray. She didn't have to move. That ball came right to her.
So that is the first out of the inning, and it brings to the plate Jenny Albright, the center fielder for the Phantoms. And she flied out to the pitcher, popped up to the pitcher in the first inning. Looks at a strike.
Well, I'm impressed with both pitchers. I think both pitchers are just doing an excellent job.
This one a little bit outside, 1-1 the count. Hits it down the first base line, an easy play. So the first 2 outs of the inning are recorded by the first baseman. That is Ramona Gray. Coming to the plate now will be Jenny Diggs, the pitcher, and she struck out her first time up. On deck will be Kim Sechrist, the catcher. Ball is high and away for a ball. There you see a good look at the pitcher, Jenny Diggs, and she swings 1-1.
I've got a little advantage over you, Tim. I get a chance to watch these games after they're broadcast, so I get to look at the different camera angles, and we are camera people just do a fantastic job.
Wait, you train them. I'm sorry. Wait,
you live in.
Wants to talk to her for a minute.
You live in the wrong city, Tim, so you don't get WHCS channel 29.
That's the disappointment of my life. I'll tell you that. Two and two the count to Jenny Diggs. 2 away here in the top of the 4th. She pops it up, and Amy Johnson, the pitcher, calls for it, and it almost popped out, but she got it nonetheless.
That's what you call a snow cone.
Yeah,
that thing jumped almost out of there.
Almost came away, but not before she recorded the out. She held on to it, so 3 up and 3 down, and the mastery of the Phantoms continues by Amy Johnson. They're the bottom of the 4th, and so far the Phantoms are being completely whitewashed here.
Yeah, I think Wade's got a substitute going in here.
Phantoms put 9 batters to the plate. 12 batters to the plate, and all 12 have come back carrying the metal. Got to change all your cliches in this game with the aluminum bats. I'll tell you one, that's one thing I enjoyed as a Little Leaguer, is playing with regular wood bats. My son plays in Little League and has those metal bats. You just don't get the same sound. It sounds like a ping, you know, and
yeah.
like that.
Well, number 6, Michelle Dyson, is going in at second base.
For the Phantoms?
Yes. So that replay again? She's number 6, Tim.
6, and she's going in at second base.
At second base, and Tim, I'm sorry. Wade told me that she would be playing the second half, and I'm trying to figure out who is the second baseman. Is that Michelle Smith?
Michelle Green.
I'm sorry,
no?
Michelle Smith, right? Who do you have? Who do you have as number 4?
I got Michelle Smith. I'm sorry, I called her Green before, but that's who it is. So Michelle Smith comes out. Michelle Dyson goes in for her.
Right.
Okay.
And she was the one that Leslie Masters was batting for.
Right, that's why we never got a chance to mention her name anyway.
Yeah, no, well, we'll get her in. Talk about her. Michelle Smith played a good game at second base.
Leading off for the Crabbers is Cheyenne Hill. Bottom half of the fourth inning. She looks at the first pitch. It's low in the dirt for ball one. Cheyenne was the first base runner for the Crabbers. Stole 2 bases and then was stranded there. Oh my goodness, we just made a direct hit to the mobile studio.
Did you see Scotty Duck?
I think I did. A little bit to the left there, Cheyenne, and you might put it right in the booth. This one is way over the catcher's head for a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike is the count. Top half of the fourth, Hampton leading 2-0. This one's again high. 3-1 the count to Cheyenne. So we've seen Jenny Diggs work very cautiously with the heavy hitting Cheyenne Hill.
Yeah, she is as good a hitter as Cheyenne is. I'm sure that's on her mind. And this is not the first time they have faced each other.
And this one looks real low. But
look low to me.
So the count runs full on Cheyenne. She looks down at Beth Mayer, the coach, and says, "Hey, coach, give me some help here."
Yeah. I'm too tall to reach that one.
Fouling it away. Count remains full. Cheyenne will be followed by Patty Welch and Letitia Lee for the Crabbers. And a swinging strike 3. So Cheyenne goes down swinging.
She took something off of that. Cheyenne was way out in front of that ball. There's like a big pumpkin coming across there. She just nice little change up. Excellent job. 7 strikeouts.
7 strikeouts recorded by Jenny Diggs so far. Patty Welch, who struck out in the second inning, takes a strike.
I don't know. That looked high to me,
It did
Tim.
look a little high, didn't it?
What would be our broadcast with you and me if we didn't say something about the officials?
It wouldn't be the same if we didn't have something to say about it.
That's the truth.
1-1 the count to Patty Welch. A strikeout victim in the second inning. She squares around and half bunts it and half pushes it down there, and she's going to get on. So she'll reach on what I would consider to be an error on the pitcher.
Yes, that was definitely should have been an out.
Kind of a half swinging bunt there. So Patty Welch gets on base.
You know, Tim, I saw that in a fast pitch softball game where the batter turned around to bunt, and the third baseman come in, and he just popped the ball right over the third baseman's head. I mean, these little thing.
It's easy to do, you know, when you consider, as I said, the base paths are so short.
Yeah.
That on a bunting situation, you get the third baseman or the first baseman coming in to play the bunt, and it's easy to pop it over their head. It's not that far away. Timeout while Beth Mayer had some instructions for the batter, Letitia Lee. And we're ready to go here. 1 away. Bottom of the fourth, and a strike. Letitia was a strikeout victim in the second inning. Strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. 1 away. Bottom half of the fourth. This one's high. Runs the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Getting it to shortstop, over to second for 1, and they don't get the double.
You get the lead runner, and that's what you got to do in a situation like that. That was a good play. Made good contact with the ball, but just hit it right to the defender.
So grounding out short to second. 2 away, and the batter is Amy Johnson, the pitcher, and she also was a strikeout victim in the second inning. Swings and misses on a low pitch. It's this one.
Oh, right in the gap.
And the shortstop moving towards second there.
Yeah, she was for anticipating maybe a steal or something and just got herself out of position. That was an excellent hit. How many outs we have, Tim?
2 away. 2 away, runners on first and second. And Tanya Robinson is the batter. She grounded out pitcher to first in the 3rd inning. Takes a strike. Strike 2. This one is hit just over the first baseman's head into right field. Play at the plate does not materialize. It's coming all the way around from second.
That batter is astounding. She jumped. Who's that, Letitia Lee?
Yeah.
She was jumping up and down. She was so happy she got an RBI. Tim, now you can say your famous thing.
No, I can't say my famous thing, but I can tell you that there are runners at the corners.
Well, I meant famous only in baseball and softball.
So, strike call to Michelle Moultrie, who scored the first run for the Crabbers. She singled, got the first hit for Hampton. Stole second and then scored when Tanya Foster hit her around. A couple of errors. Runners at second and third now. One and one the count. Michelle Moultrie wings for strike 2. Two away here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Hampton threatening to add to their 3-run total. Just outside. This one's low in the dirt. Runner's coming, and she'll score with ease as Amy Johnson comes in to record the Hampton's team's 4th run. And moving up to 3rd is Tanya Robinson. So Jenny Diggs having a tough go of it here in the 4th inning. 3rd and 4th inning has been kind of a downfall for her, even though she's had 7 strikeouts. Count is full to Michelle Moultrie. There you see a good look at her. And she'll draw the base on balls. And that'll bring us back to the leadoff batter, Tawana Foster, who flied out to the second baseman and reached on 2 errors.
Tim, I look for her to go on the first pitch.
Yeah, of course, she will not draw the throw. So again, runners at second and third, 2 away. Bottom of the 4th. Hampton leading 4-0. Swing and a miss. This one is hit just, I was going to say over the shortstop's head. But
what a nice catch. I did too. I thought it was going over her head.
Sabrina Jaquel makes a good catch and ends the inning. As Tawana Foster lines to shortstop to end the inning, but the Crabbers pick up 2 more runs. And they did so with a base on balls and a hit and 1 error.
So we now at the top of the...
Near the top of the 5th for the Phantoms.
Okay.
Play 7 innings, as Bob mentioned earlier. The Phantoms, so far, have been shut out completely by Amy Johnson. Don't want to jinx the young lady, but she is recording a perfect game to this point. Has faced 12 batters, got them all out. She hasn't been overpowering per se. She's recorded 3 strikeouts, but she's let her fielders do the rest of the work for her.
Well, balls that are being hit on the ground, and they're not having any problem with them, or little pop-ups. And the little bunts they're excellent fielding, throwing the runners out on the bunts, because there have been some good bunts by the Phoebus Phantoms.
Kim Sechrist will lead off, and she'll be followed by Sabrina Jaquel and Tracy Green for the Phantoms. Kim flied out to the shortstop in the second inning. Ball just inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Amy Johnson must have some pretty good speed on that ball. The girls are kind of wincing or kind of pulling back there. This one's high, so she gets behind the batter real quickly. 2 balls, no strikes.
And that has happened before when you sit on a bench for a while. Of course, she was one of the base runners. You have a tendency to cool off a little bit, and it's the wind we've got out here today is cool. I don't know what the temperature is, but it's not in the 70s.
Ball 3 high. It's 3-1. A few times that Amy has been this far behind a batter. And she loses her. So the first base runner of the ball game will be Kim Sechrist. That is the first base runner for Phoebus in the ball game.
And Sabrina, the one who made the beautiful catch to end the inning just moments before, has a chance to do something. She's got 3 home runs for the year, and she's a good hitter.
Sabrina struck out her only other time, that in the second inning. Takes a ball high. And ball 2. So Amy Johnson now having a bit of a problem with the control. After having been perfect for 4 innings, she walks the leadoff batter and falls behind to make that 3-0 now. Crabber's very much aware of Kim Sechrist over on first base.
Well, Letitia Lee has a good arm, but at catcher, she's thrown out 10 runners this year, trying to steal on her.
Strike 1. So 3-1 the count. And getting down to second base on the steal.
The throw was wide, Tim. Had the throw not been wide, could have very well been a very close play. Kim would have had to slide in.
3-1 the count to Sabrina. Swinging foul ball, strike 2. So the count runs full now. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th. And she walks the second batter of the inning. So 2 consecutive walks now by Amy Johnson. It'll bring up Tracy Green, who struck out in the second. You see Coach Trainham having a word with Tracy before she steps to the plate. Undoubtedly discussing the strategy involved. Got runners at first and second, nobody out. Phoebus trailing the Crabbers 4-0. Squares around, showing bunt, but pulls it back and takes ball 1. So Amy's lost the touch there momentarily. I hope I didn't jinx her. She's probably going to burn my house down.
Well, we won't tell her where you live.
I live in that other city, as Scotty said. Strike one. 1-1 the count. Nobody out. She went for a high one. It looks like she's going to be able to move the runners up, rather, and the sacrifice by Tracy Green.
That was really her only play. She has to get the runner, but it would have been interesting had she tried to go for Kim Sechrist going to third, but you'd have had to turn completely around to make the throw. So she made the right decision. You get one.
So there is one away, and now Rhonda Crum steps to the plate. She flied out to center her first time up, and she takes ball one. Didn't you say that she's got a pretty heavy bat?
Rhonda? Yeah, she's batting 287. She's does a good job on the field at first base.
287 is pretty good. She squares around, and the ball is low in the dirt, and a good hustling play by Letitia Lee to get the ball back to Amy Johnson. Rhonda Crum got a kick out of that. She's smiling and laughing with the umpire. She had to do a little rope jumping there to avoid getting hit. So quickly the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes to Rhonda Crum. Runners at second and third, one out. Again, looks at a high pitch for ball 3.
And I tell you, squaring around bunting has really got Amy shook up a little bit pitching. And Wade's going to talk to her a little more. It says, you know, turn around, maybe you can pull the walk, which will load the bases.
So the Crabbers, who couldn't get a base runner through the first 4 innings now, have had some successes. Amy Johnson has had trouble finding the plate here in the 5th. She has runners at second and third, one away, and a 3-0 count on Rhonda Crum. She'll take strike one. Wanted to swing at that one.
Yeah, she did. She really, Wade told her to take what you got to do, what the coach tells you to do. But the Phantoms they've got some runners that they haven't had all game.
And ball 4. We're back now as we have the bases loaded. You've just seen the conclusion of a little powwow there. Beth Mayer having a discussion with the team, and in particular Amy Johnson told her to settle down, throw strikes. This time she does, in fact, throw a ball again. She's got the bases loaded on walks. One away. Batter is Stephanie Belton, and she'll swing at strike one. One and one out, 4-0 is the score. Just outside, 2 balls and a strike.
It doesn't take but just a couple of walks to kind of mess up your mind a little bit and your confidence.
Fouled away. And she fouled that on the 3rd strike. So that will be considered a strikeout for...
Well, excuse me, Tim, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that was kind of unique because Wade knew that they would not be looking for the bunt on a 3rd strike. So that was a calculated risk there.
So now the Phantoms, with the bases loaded, have 2 outs. And Leslie Masters, the designated hitter, steps in for the Phantoms. Inside. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, I see number 12 over there warming up for the Crabbers. I'm trying to pick up her number here. Number 12, that's Michelle Gore, who is evidently the backup pitcher for the Crabbers.
This was
Catch
just
it, Tim.
fouled just behind us there. I wasn't attached to all these life support systems. I would have tried for that one.
Would you? I'd have watched you.
Gets any closer to me, I'll play it, I'll guarantee you. 2 balls and a strike now to Leslie Masters. She flied out to the catcher in the 3rd inning. Top of the 5th, hits it back up the middle, and making a good play there was a shortstop for the Crabbers.
Cheyenne Hill made an excellent play that time and took the easy out.
So the ground out. Ends the inning, and the Phantoms strand 3. They still haven't gotten a hit off of Amy Johnson, but they have gotten 3 walks from her. So Amy had a little difficulty there, but her team backed her up and got her out of trouble.
I wish you could have watched Beth Mayer. That time she walked over talking to some of the fans, and she was taking her hand and going like this with her shirt, like the heart was really beating there with the bases loaded.
Yeah, I can imagine. You get yourself out of a little bit of trouble there. So the Crabbers now will come up to bat in the bottom of the 5th. And they will have coming to the plate, let's see here, Ramona Gray, Kristen Davis, and Cheyenne Hill, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th batters.
Wade is kind of talking to his pitcher a little bit there. He was catching, warming her up until Kim Seacrest could get out there, and the first 2 she threw on the ground, and Tim said, Wade said, get her up, and next one over his head.
You didn't say how high, that's all.
A little overcompensation there was done. I remember one of the very first baseball games we had at Bethel High School. At Buckrow Junior High, we didn't have baseball when I first went out there. All they had was football, basketball, and track, and we ended up with a baseball team, and the opposing coaches would yell at his pitcher, Miles. He said, Miles, get the ball down. He'd get it in the ground. He said, Miles, get the ball up. And they'd throw it over the head. And he says, come on, Miles, put it down the middle. Next pitch, he put it down the middle. The guy, he said, oh, my God, Miles. The guy hit a home run. So Miles knew what he was doing. You keep it away from the middle, right?
Foul ball on the first pitch. This one is laid down very nicely, and an excellent bunt.
Wow.
You don't do it any better than that. Ramona Gray is on with a bunt single.
And she is the quickest member of that team, too, so you can look for her to steal. She'll put a lot of pressure on Kim Seacrest, the catcher for the Phantoms.
Well, that ball just died. She laid it about 4 feet away from the plate, took off like a rabbit, and beat the bunt to the first base with ease. Kristen Davis steps in. She grounded out, pitcher to first, and struck out in the 3rd. And what was called?
She left too soon. She was called out, Tim.
Oh, okay.
Hey, that's what you got to be careful of. You can't leave before the ball leaves the pitcher's hand, and Ramona Gray did. She's called out.
So 1 away.
I'm sure that's a rare call. That's the first time I've ever seen it called.
Ball hit to the second baseman. She shovels it over to first for the out.
Well, she stayed with that ball, and that's the young lady came in, Michelle Dyson, has played the second half of today's ball game at second base, and she stayed right with that ball. She didn't panic.
2 away now, and Cheyenne Hill gets up there. She walked in the second, and what do we got here? Walked in the second and struck out in the 4th.
I'll see if I can wake you up. Watch out, Tim. Scotty's got in there. He needs a little exercise every now and then. He's got a ball in the bag here.
Cheyenne bounces it up the middle for a hit. She'll round the base there at first and hold up.
What is she for 3 times at bat? I know she walked once.
She's 1 for 2 so far. She walked once, struck out once, and got first on a single. So she's batting 500 for the day. Patty Welch will step in. She struck out and reached on a error in the 4th inning. And this one bounces all the way up there. Cheyenne easily advances to second. 1 ball, no strikes to count to Patty Welch. Jenny Diggs has struck out 7 batters today. Ball high to Patty. Strike called, and Cheyenne halfway down between second and third.
And
Good
she was
play
trying.
by Sechrist.
Remember what she did? What was it, second, third inning? She went halfway down, and Sechrist threw the ball back to the pitcher, and Cheyenne stole third.
Strike called. Should even the count at 2-2, I believe. Yeah. 2-2 the count. Runner at second. 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th, and a swinging strike 3. So Patty Welch strikes out for the 2nd time. And Jenny Diggs records strikeout number 8 on the afternoon. And the Crabbers get 1 base runner on the hit by Cheyenne Hill, and she'll be stranded there. As
well, they had 2 hits. They did have 2 hits because Ramona Gray laid down a nice bunt and got a hit, and then was thrown out. Was called out, leaving too soon.
Yeah, they got 2 hits. I'm sorry, you're right. Ramona got a single, and then she got out on the play where she left too soon.
Right. Okay.
Going to second. Yeah, don't take away those hits.
I tell you.
2 hits for the Crabbers. No runs, however. Leading off for the Phantoms. I'm still a neophyte with the scoring thing. By the next season, I'll have this thing down.
Well,
this is a lot easier
I want you to bring that with you Sunday. When we do.
Well, I got our buddy there from the radio station. What's the fellow's name?
Ray Heath?
Yeah, Ray. Was it Ray?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was somebody else. Anyway, he Wayne Heath.
No, it's Ray Heath.
I knew that.
Trust me.
Good old Ray.
Well, anyway.
Good old Ray gave me one of his handy-dandy homemade score sheets to replace the one that I've been struggling with for the last umpteen years. So
but you struggled so well with it.
Oh, I knew what I was doing. It just took me forever to do it. But now I'm going to be able to, I'm telling you, I'm going to practice up for the Soviet game. I'm going to be able to tell you how many shots each player has taken and his percentage all the time. I'm just going to have a wealth of knowledge to pass on to the fans.
You'll have so much knowledge you won't know what to do with it all.
Just like I usually do. That's right. As our director says, if I in fact can announce it, that's pronounce the name. That's going to be the tough part. Okay.
Well, Boo was going to get me a roster and everything, and see if he got it to me, I was going to get you a copy, but he hasn't got it to me yet.
Who he?
Boo.
Who he, Boo?
Boo Williams.
Swinging strike to Tanya Pierce to lead off the 6th inning for the Phantoms. She grounded out third to first and flat out to the first baseman in her 2 other at-bats. Swinging strike 2. Foul that one away. Amy Johnson had a little shaky time in the last inning there, giving up 3 bases on balls, but kept any of the runners from scoring, and a called strike 3.
Wow, boy, that thing was inside on the inside corner, or curved one, but the batter was jumping back. That was Tanya Pierce, but she didn't like that call at all.
Jenny Albright now will lead off as the 2nd batter of the inning. And a left-hander hits it to center field, but it's right to the center fielder. Kristen Davis made a good play.
That was a good hit, and that's exactly what Wade telling her. He says, nothing wrong with that. You got good wood on the ball, and just hit it to somebody. You can hit it in the gaps.
2 away for the Phantoms in the top of the 6th. The pitcher, Jenny Diggs, comes up, and she smacks it
in the gap.
In the gap, and she's going to get extra bases out of this. She may get more than 3. If she hustles, she might get 4 on this one. They're going to send her. Play at home. Good throw, but Jenny Diggs beats the throw for a in-the-park home run.
Wow, what a nice throw. And what made that go, the center fielder for the Hampton Crabbers, and that's find out who that is. That's Christian Davis out there in center field. Fell down when she got the ball. Had she not fallen down, I don't think she would have got a home run. It would have been a triple, but that's what I was talking about. You know, there's nothing wrong with the hit. You get it in the gap, and that's exactly where she put that. Nice shot, Jenny Diggs.
So that also is not only the first run, but it's also the first hit for the Phantoms. They had 3 base runners in the 5th, all on walks. And now it looks like base hit number 2 is going to be registered by Kim Sechrist, and she reaches first. So Amy Johnson now sees 2 hits in a row.
And that's exactly what Wade would have loved to have last inning when he had all those base runners and couldn't get anybody to hit on the 3 walks given up earlier.
Sabrina Jaquel will come to the plate. She walked in the 5th and struck out in the 2nd. I don't know whether I'm making a French name out of a non-French name, Jaquel or Jaquel. I'm not sure which, but we apologize to her.
She pronounces it Jaquel, but Wade calls her Jaquel.
So I'm right on both counts. Huh?
Yeah, so go with the coach. He's bigger than both of us.
That's for sure. This pitch is high. 2 balls, no strikes to Sabrina. 1 run across for the for the Phantoms. That home run by Jenny Diggs. Swinging strike. As the nasty cloud formations continue to stay away.
We've been blessed here, Tim, that's for sure.
Strike. And a throw down to second, and reaching safely is Kim Sechrist, so she steals second. And good camera work on that.
Yes, sir.
Just don't have Slow-Mo Joe to show it to you again, that's all.
Well, he'd show it to you again and again and
again. 4 different.
No, he does a good job and uses all the cameras.
This one is grounded to Cheyenne Hill, and she'll throw the runner out at first. Another good effort by the first baseman to field the ball, Ramona Gray.
And that is 3. I wasn't sure if that was 2 or 3 there for a second.
Yeah, I had it down as 3 because there was a strikeout to lead off and a fly out to center, and then the home run, a single and a steal, and a ground out from short to first. Let's see, Mr. Director here. No, there weren't any hits in that last inning. There were three walks in the 5th. Then there was a sacrifice where they moved a runner over, but I have just 3 bases on balls during that inning, and then of course they left all 3 of them. I may have missed something. Again, I'm new at this.
No, I can't remember a hit in that inning either, because had there been a hit, we wouldn't have had the bases loaded with a walk, because nobody's throwing out at home, so you had 3 walks, so that was your loaded base.
Yeah, the sacrifice was only to move a runner up, so
right.
that worked out. So I don't believe they've recorded any hits in the 5th, Scotty, but I could be wrong on that. But they did, in fact, get 2 hits here and 1 run.
And what inning are we in?
We are now in the bottom of the 6th, and it's 4-1, the Crabbers. That much I'm sure of. There you go. You got them down for 2 hits. That's right, 2 hits in that last inning, including the home run by the pitcher, Jenny Diggs. Jenny's done well with the strikeout pitch today. She just has given up some key hits to the Crabbers.
Well, Jenny is just a freshman, Tim. She's just a very young lady, maybe 13, 14 years old.
Well, she's got quite a future ahead of her.
Well, she's recorded 100 strikeouts prior to today's game, so you can pad that up a little bit with what she's done.
Letitia Lee leads off the 6th for the Crabbers, takes a ball high. Letitia struck out in the 2nd, and she grounded out short to second. Actually, she reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th. Got on base by the fielder's choice and eventually scored a run. Pops this one up. It's playable. Kim Sechrist has to find it, and she does. So good job by the catcher. That's the toughest play in baseball.
I tell you, both catchers have made those plays. And you're right, that That is tough.
It really is, because you got to first of all you got to find it,
and then you got to look like
up.
it's going to come down on your head. That's what they tell me. I never played catcher. I was too chicken to play catch.
I played catcher in slow pitch softball, where you don't get a lot of foul balls. You get to watch a lot of them go flying out into the field. Amy Johnson, the pitcher, is the second batter of the 6th inning, and she looks at a strike. 1-1 the count to Amy. She struck out in the 2nd, and she singled in the 4th, and eventually scored. Squares around a bunt. She lays it down very nicely, and the ball gets away. I'm not even sure she would have been out even if the ball was there.
It'd have been close, but she did a good job of moving the ball. She said, okay, you're going to call a strike on me, which I thought was a high ball. I'll just bunt the ball and get on anyway.
Since I'm the official scorer here, I'm going to give her a hit on that.
All right, good for you. Yeah, we got a hit on that one, Scotty.
Beth Mayer has a little chat with Tanya Robinson coming up, with Amy Johnson on first, and Wade Trainham is also out talking to Jenny Diggs, see how she's feeling, make sure she's all right to continue. Can't see the bullpen area here for Phoebus.
I can't either. I don't know where they're warming up, so it's maybe up on the other side of the truck.
Strike call to Tanya Robinson. Tanya rounded out pitcher the 1st and the 3rd, and she reached base on a single in the 4th, and she calls strike 2. So quickly, Jenny Diggs gets 2 strikes on the batter. This was in the dirt, and Amy Johnson will easily trot down to second base. One away here in the 6th. And a runner now in scoring position. And a strike 3. So 2 outs now. Whoops, sorry, we had a substitute there that I didn't pick up right away for the Crabbers. Who is number 1 there, Bob? Who have you got down there?
Number 1, that's Tanya Robinson.
Oh, Tanya Robinson, okay.
So she's a DH.
Okay. I had her with a different number. We're okay. And it brings up the batter, Michelle Moultrie. Swinging foul ball. She walked and singled in her other 2 at-bats. So she's 1 for 1 today. Amy Johnson, the runner at second, 2 away. She turns her bat, and she's out as she stepped out of the batter's box to hit the ball. So.
Yeah, she had to reach for it, and that's you can't do that. You can't step out of the box to hit the ball. So that brings us to the end of that inning.
So the Crabbers get a runner on the single by Amy Johnson. She advanced to second, and she died on second. So the score remains 4-1. And I think that's 7 hits. How does that register with you, Scotty? You got him down for 7 hits now for the Crabbers?
Well, if he doesn't, he can get it up there quick, can't he?
I might be wrong. I'm checking with him. See, I'm still a neophyte at this scoring thing here, but I'm working at it.
That's a shot from out there in right center field, and that's a good shot. You can see the catcher and the fans behind the dugout. I mean, behind the backstop, and that's from Keith, still way out there on the top of the truck. Oh, that's the van he's on, but look at that, that's a long shot.
Tracy Green, Rhonda Crum, and Stephanie Belton will be the batters in the 7th for the Phantoms. They have to get back in this ball game if they wish this game to go any further. They trail 4-1.
And it's Squeaky, as Coach Trainham calls her, Squeaky Green.
Tracy Green struck out in the second, and she sacrificed in the 5th inning. Amy Johnson still the pitcher for the Crabbers. Grounds it back to Amy. Amy nonchalantly throws her out at first. So the first out of the inning, and coming to the plate now will be Rhonda Crum, who reached on a base on balls in the 5th and flied out to center in the 3rd. She fouls this one away for a strike. Looks at a high and outside pitch, evening the count at 1-1. This one high and away as well. 2 balls and 1 strike. Crabbers 13-2 as we are told, and the Phoebus Phantoms 11-4, 2 of the better teams on the peninsula.
Well, that's the first and second place team, so we couldn't have picked a better game to do. But also, Tim, if Phoebus can't do anything, this will be the last inning because Crabbers will not have to come up to bat.
I believe you were saying in order for Phoebus to have a shot at the championship, they had to win this game and Hampton had to lose tomorrow. So
yeah.
That will also go by the boards. Hampton will clinch the championship if our information is correct.
Well, I got the information from Wade. So, you know, second place team, he's going to give me all the scenarios, I'm sure, but how he can get his team in there.
2 balls and 1 strike. The count to Rhonda Crum. Looks at ball 3. 3-1 the count. Of course, Coach Trainum wants to get some base runners here. He'll want her to look this pitch over very carefully. Game is still in hand here, 4-1. Swings and fouls the ball away. Full count now. Rhonda 0 for 1 today. And she fouls this one away, so she spoils another pitch. And she'll stick around. Hits this one sharply to the second baseman. She has a little difficulty with it, but it picks it up and throws her out.
Ramona Gray went over and said, "Nice job."
So Michelle Moultrie had a little difficulty finding a handle on that one, but it eventually did and threw her out for the second out of the inning. And the last chance now for the Phantoms is Stephanie Belton, the right fielder. She grounded out pitcher to first and struck out in the 5th. This one's high. 1-1 the count. Looked like a pretty good pitch, as one of the fans in the stands said, but that one was called a ball by umpire Ron Rivera.
Yeah, he said it was inside.
2 balls and a strike. Popped up, playable by the first baseman. She's got it for the 3rd out. So that's going to do it for the Phantoms as the Hampton Crabbers record the victory, their 14th of the season, as they run their record to 14-2. And Amy Johnson is the winning pitcher as she allowed just 2 hits, gave up 1 run. Crabbers scored 4 as they clinched the championship. Pretty good ball game.
Yes, it was, Tim. And again, the Hampton schools come up with some good athletes and some fine teams, and take nothing away from the Phoebus Phantoms. They're going to have an excellent team in the future. They got a freshman pitcher that did an excellent job today. He's had over 100 strikeouts for the season. I have only one senior, and that's the catcher, Kim Sechrist, so they only have many positions to fill. Hampton, on the other side, only has 4 seniors. One of them, of course, is the pitcher, and they will miss Amy, but I know Beth Mayer is extremely happy. This is her first year coaching over at Hampton, and the team is just excited. As you can see, they're hugging her and just beside themselves. So I guess they'll go to the regionals, and Tim, and I'm not sure who they'll play or anything about that, but tell our fans to read the paper, find out.
Yeah, you know, I mean, if they can advance, there's a possibility. Maybe we'll talk to AG to see if we can perhaps cover them if they are able to move through the regionals, and if they should be good enough to advance. And they get the congratulations from Coach Trainham over at Phoebus as you see him walking back to the dugout. His team played well, but the Hampton team played just a little bit better.
Don't do any replays on us.
No, the officials want to know if we do any replays, and Tim didn't call. Said you didn't call but 2 bad ones. That was all.
No, the umpires did a good job.
Yes, they did.
The record now for Phoebus would run to 11-5.
11-5 for the Phantoms, and that's a good. And Tim, I want to also thank Mother Nature for holding off on any showers we may have had coming into this thing, because it looked like we was going to catch it, but it held off, and we got the game in.
Rain this morning. I almost wrote the whole thing off when I first saw the weather this morning, but we were lucky enough to keep it nice. And as you look into the Hampton dugout there, the joyous Hampton Crabbers, the Peninsula District champions in girls softball. And as you said, I'm sure they'll be moving on to postseason play. The Phantoms finish at 11-5. Anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Tim, I've enjoyed it. This is a new experience. We haven't got a chance to do as many games as we hoped we would this year. The weather did not cooperate. There was just too many rained-out games for us to schedule, but we did get the very important game in. And I want to give my congratulations to Beth Meyer and the Hampton Crabbers on an excellent game and an excellent win, and also to Wade Trainham and the Phoebus Phantoms. They have nothing to be ashamed of. It's been great.
All right, and again, a quick reminder for those of you, if this game is being seen by you before May 21st, we suggest that you try and get out to the Coliseum for that basketball game Sunday night at 7:30. Boo Williams' AAU team will take on the Soviet Junior National team, and that should be one worth getting out to. Tickets are just $2, general admission $5 for reserved seats. So take the family out there. You can take your wife and your kids and go out there for about $10 and have a great time.
Really could.
All right, so for Bob Hintz and the entire crew, this is Tim Cole. The final score again, the Hampton Crabbers 4 and the Phoebus Phantoms 1. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good afternoon.